Hey everybody, Oz here with Oz WoW Guides, and in today's episode of our beginner series, we're going to be discussing some of the best resources available for new players. To start things off, we're going to go with, we've mentioned it before, but it's wowhead.com. This is a great tool, and this is going to be your encyclopedia or your Wikipedia of WoW knowledge. There's so many different things that you can do here. You can find questions to quests that you're doing, as well as leveling guides, covenant abilities, soulbinds, conduits, everything that you have questions on in the new expansion. It's all going to be covered here. The hard part may just be finding the content that you're looking for. But together with this, with some of the other resources I'm going to be providing you with, you'll be a much better player as well as a much more informed player as well. So play around here, kind of see what you need, piece it all together if you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next one. Here we have Icy Veins, a very similar resource to Wowhead, but this also is probably much more focused on the class guide section, as well as there's some great rankings that they do for classes as well. So they have some DPS rankings, healer rankings, tank rankings. Now, as of November 28th, when I'm shooting this video, they have not opened up Castle Nathria for Shadowlands. And when they do that, they're going to go ahead and do what's called Heroic Week. So there's three different difficulties for the raid. There's normal, I guess four now. There's LFR, or looking for raid. That's just the queue up, very casual. There's the normal, heroic, and mythic raid difficulties, which is what you'll be hearing more players talk about when they actually refer to raiding. And during the heroic week, when it's released, they usually do a patch where they tune all of the classes, and it's usually the final tuning that classes will receive going into the first part of the expansion here. So even though you might hop on here and look at some of these rankings, just know, take it with a grain of salt, that these could change any time with the heroic tuning that's most likely going to be coming. The next one that we got here is for those of you that are looking to make some gold. This is called the Lazy Gold Maker. This person has some great articles on here. He basically just spends all day just trying to find new ways to make gold inside the game. This is what this entire website's about. It has some spreadsheets and all kinds of different things. You might learn about macros and some crafting macros as well, which are basically one button presses that'll allow you to print gold. Sometimes they'll crop up on here, and they're really great resources to have. We'll have this separate guide on gold making. It's something that I usually take pretty seriously. I made a 1.2 million gold on the launch day of the expansion after I leveled to 60. So it's something that I really enjoy as part of the game, and I love spreading my knowledge about it as it's something that I'm really passionate about. Next thing I'm going to show you is for those of you who are interested in improving upon your skill. The next three things are pretty crucial for that. The first being Warcraft logs. Now, as soon as you join a guild and if you begin raiding, you're going to most likely have someone who will be posting logs. You'll keep hearing that term, posting logs, or who's recording logs. Basically, everything that you do inside of a raid is logged. They have the ability to go back and look and see, like, oh, you didn't press this button at this time, basically, and you died to this mechanic because of that. This is not to be used as a tattletale mechanism of saying and singling out people, but more as an instructive tool to say, hey, your healer missed this dispel, and because of that, this person went mind controlled early in the fight and caused them to die. Just kind of finding things that you're missing as a group and to help everybody improve. Unfortunately, with it being the off season, I don't have access to any logs right now. So as soon as I do, I'll try to do another video, maybe specifically just talking about how to look at logs, as well as if you ever decide to become a raid lead, kind of what you're looking for there, and how to be instructive and positive in making everybody a better player that wants to be a better player. The second one is WoW Analyzer. WoW Analyzer is currently being updated as well. This is a great tool for improving on your specific mistakes that you're making. What it does is it'll tell you here, this is an old report that I have. I can see if it'll load. I'm not sure if it will. So it'll tell you if you're playing a spec and what you're doing wrong. So some of these things are um, going to be a de facto 100% truth. Some of these things, yeah, as you become more familiar with your class, you'll realize things kind of like this shatter your spells thing. As you play Frost Mage more, you'll learn that maybe you shouldn't be casting. Well, this is back during the days of Glacial Spike builds, but you may not want to always be uh, casting your Flurry or your Ice Lance. What you would want to do, and this is just kind of a tangent for this, but you would want to make sure that you would have a Flurry proc before you would cast your Glacial Spike, so that way you could actually shatter your Glacial Spike and your Flurry at the same time. So it was just a way to squeeze out some extra DPS that this doesn't really pick up on, but it is a great way, yeah, as you can see here, with the lower proc effectivity. That's just one of those things that you can kind of look at. But if you're a new player, this is a really quick way if you notice like you're underperforming compared to your peers that have similar item level on their gear. This is a quick way that if you use this tool that you can look at and say, oh, maybe I should be casting this button more often. This ability I'm not even using. I mean, I have it on my bar because I didn't think it was that good, and you might find out it's actually very important for your build. So this is a good way to find holes in your armor and kind of piece together a better output for your character. And this can be used for almost all specs. I'm playing Affliction Warlock, and unfortunately right now the tool does not work for Affliction Warlock, but most of the specs out there this will work for. So this is a really valuable tool. I highly recommend using it, especially if you're looking at playing Mythic Plus, which we'll talk some more about, as well as if you're going to raid inside of a group. The last one, this is called Raid Bots. This one, if you're not looking to do hardcore anything, I would say that this would probably be the end of the video for you. But if you're looking to squeeze out every single last DPS from your spec or from your character, this is the way that you're going to do it. This has tons of powerful tools. If you pay for their subscription model, which is like $5 a month, I don't pay for it, but you can actually run all of the dungeons for your character, and it'll tell you exactly what drops you want from those dungeons. Like this Droptimizer tool up here, it'll tell you exactly like which dungeons will make the most impact immediately per the gear that they drop for your character. I'm just going to go ahead and show you how to do a quick sim. So this is my character right here, Osvinar. I'm on Tichondrius. I'm not sure if this is updated as of last night because I have been trying to gear up my character this week. I think I'm like 175 item level. I'm hoping to get closer to 180 before the end of the week. I still have one or two more Mythic Zeros that I get to run. So from here, you can select your fight style. Patchwork, all that means is it's no movement, single target. So basically think of it as just hitting a target dummy. This is going to be your highest output for one target. So this is going to give you the most, in my opinion, inaccurate number, because in this game you're never standing still. You're always going to be moving and fighting, whether that be in PvP or in PvE content. You're never just going to be standing still and just slamming on somebody. The Dungeon Slice tool is really nice. I've been using this one. I know it says that it's in beta, but I've been using this one now for a year and a half, and I find it to be the most accurate. The idea here is it takes a 6-minute slice of a Mythic Plus dungeon, and it overrides the fight length, and it uses buffs from scrolls as well as disables raid-specific buffs. This gives you a much more accurate representation of the game, as in over a 6-minute time slice that you're looking at, you're going to have some single target fights, you're going to have some couple, like 3 or 4 target fights, and you might have 1 or 2 big pulls within there. And this tries to give a more accurate picture of all of those things as a conglomerate. So we're going to move on from here and just do run quick sim. And look at that, beautiful. Only 37 people in the queue. Sometimes this number can be like, I've seen it 700-800 on some raid nights, so it can be nice when it's short like this, so I can not have to do as much editing on the back end of this video. So this, like I said, this tool is mostly for people who are min-maxing, just trying to get the most out of their spec. I would recommend everybody to do it at least once. It's extremely easy, and if you're trying to get better at the game, Doing this even once a month or something will be a great way to kind of know what you need to target. So as you can see here, this kind of takes the different gear that I'm wearing and some of the abilities that I currently have slotted, and it tells me approximate damage that I should be able to do with my current gear as well as my current talents that I have selected. It's also looking at certain uptimes that are going to be, certain buffs that have will have uptimes during the fight that it's assuming that I'm using as well. The other thing that you would want to do with your character, besides this just gives you, like I said, a kind of it lets you know kind of what you should be targeting for your total output, is to use the stat weights. This is probably the most powerful tool here. Your gear will have a primary stat, so if you're a cloth wearer, it's going to be intellect. If you're a plate wearer, it's strength. If you're a leather wearer, it's agility, which we're going to talk about some more in the next video. But this will give you the secondary stats. So when you look at your gear, it might say something like plus 60 intellect, and then below it you'll have these separate stats that are referred to as secondary stats, and those might be something like mastery and critical strike, or it might say something like versatility and mastery. It can be a bunch of different secondary stats. So most people are wanting to know what stat is best for me and what is going to give me the most output. So we're going to use the dungeon slice again. Yeah, as you can see, this one's definitely the more popular choice right now. And we'll talk some more about the different stats in the next video. There's also some basic guides while this is running. I'll show you real quick on the classes section, so I can just jump to like affliction. And if we scroll down here, there should be one where it says stats. And this is best stats for affliction lock, intellect, spell power, and this is kind of your priority that you should be taking them in. We'll compare this. This could be fun. We'll see if this actually pans out for me. So this is the general guide, sort of what they think is the most general purpose for most people. We'll see what it actually is for my character, because I've found that traditionally for mine, when I've ran it, it's been mastery first, followed by haste. And I hope you guys have been enjoying this series as well. I have, I think, 20 or 25 of these videos planned for you. I had gotten some feedback that the thumbnails were a little difficult to read, so I'm going to go ahead and try a different thumbnail with some different text to try to make it easier to see. So any constructive feedback that you guys might have, please feel free to leave it in the comments below. As I'm just starting up this channel, it's my first YouTube channel, and I'm just trying to make the best content for you guys that I can. So if you have anything that you guys would like to see in the future as well, any ideas for some World of Warcraft content, please feel free to leave it down in the comments, and I'll see if I can't put something together for you and provide some valuable input. If it's something that I don't know, I'm not opposed to just flat out telling you I don't know anything about that, but I'll do my best to try to point you towards a resource that might be able to help you. So yeah, so it actually almost matches up perfectly. So we have intellect is my best stat, which every 1 point of intellect will give me 1.7 extra DPS. And then so this, yeah, so down here, 1 point of intellect will increase your DPS by 1.7. And then so it's intellect, haste, mastery, crit, and verse. And intellect, haste, mastery, crit, verse. Yeah, so actually right now I am exactly where I would need to be for following the general guidelines. So that's good to see. That means my gear is becoming pretty well rounded. They have actually introduced a new scaling mechanism in the game as well, that as you begin to get more and more of one stat, it becomes less valuable. So for me, I am actually extremely mastery heavy right now, so it's good to see that this is not much lower, because that would mean I've went too mastery heavy. So it seems that I'm in a pretty good spot, and hopefully I'll be able to continue to get some better gear and bring you guys some more content in the future. So I hope you guys liked this video, and if you did, please feel free to subscribe to my channel and leave a like on this video as well, and I will see everybody in the next one. Take care, everyone.